Welcome to Books Made Fun, where we've learned English in creative ways with the help of stories.
Stepping inside a classic fable, The Washerman's Donkey. Our story begins with a donkey whose life was miserable, an adjective meaning very unhappy or uncomfortable, translated as dukhi. Every day he had to work tirelessly. As you can see on the right, this phrase means to work very hard without resting, or bina ruke kam karna. These two terms explain his physical state. The donkey was underfed, meaning he wasn't given enough food. Because of this, he was constantly exhausted, which means extremely tired, or bahut takahua. Carrying heavy loads on an empty stomach made the donkey long for a better life. To long for something is a phrasal verb, meaning to strongly desire it, or lalayatona. He wanted nothing more than rest and plenty of grass. By this point, the donkey's hunger and fatigue had reached a breaking point. He was no longer the strong worker he once was, leaving him ready to accept any change to his current life. We now meet the donkey's owner, the washerman. Instead of feeding his animal, the washerman proved to be cunning, clever in a tricky way, or chalak. His methods were deceptive, an adjective meaning misleading or dishonest. While walking in the forest, the washerman found a dead tiger. Seeing the skin, an idea struck him. Strike is an irregular verb, meaning to suddenly get an idea. Looking at that striped pelt, he came up with, or thought of, a very specific plan. This diagram shows how the washerman planned to kill two birds with one stone. This idiom means to achieve two goals with a single action. By disguising the donkey as a tiger, the donkey could eat for free in neighboring farms, and the farmers would be too afraid to stop him. The owner chose a solution built on a lie. Rather than providing actual care, he relied entirely on the hope that a simple tiger skin would be enough to fool the entire village. Covered in the tiger skin, the donkey walked into the moonlit farms. He was able to roam freely, moving without any restriction or swatantra rupse gumna across the heavy crops. Spotting those stripes in the dark, the farmers were terrified. To be terrified means to be very scared, or bahat darahua. With the farmers gone, the donkey ate to his heart's content. This idiom means doing something as much as you want, G. Barker. Weeks of grazing in the greenest fields filled out his frame. The ribs that once showed through his skin were gone, and he became robust, a powerful adjective describing someone strong and healthy, or mazboot. He finally had the health and food he once longed for. However, this prosperity depended entirely on a fragile lie. To keep this life, he had to keep the disguise perfectly intact. One quiet night, as the donkey was eating, a familiar sound echoed across the valley. Another donkey was braying in the distance. On this layout, we see the phrasal verb hold back, which means to control oneself, or rokna. Notice the irregular forms, hold, held, and held. Hearing his own kind, the donkey simply could not hold back his natural instincts. He let out a loud, unmistakable bray. In that moment, the disguise was useless. His true identity was exposed, revealed or uncovered for everyone to see. This animation shows the meaning of the idiom to show one's true colors. It means to reveal your real nature, or asli chetha dikana. The farmers immediately realized there was no tiger in their field. Months of safety, high-quality food, and newfound strength vanished in an instant. A single loud bray destroyed everything he had gained. The farmers realized they had been tricked. They lost no time, meaning they acted immediately, or turant kam karna, and attacked the animal with sticks. This grammar board highlights the cause of his downfall, foolishness, or murkta. This lack of wisdom led to a fatal mistake, an adjective describing something that causes disaster or death, known in Hindi as katak. The donkey could not escape the angry mob. He had to pay the price, an idiom meaning to suffer the consequences of his own actions. The story leaves us with 3 lessons. Pretending to be something you are not brings danger. Self-control is essential to keeping what you have. And finally, foolish actions can ruin even the best opportunities.
So now let's go back and really dig into the key vocabulary that made this story so vivid. Okay, first up, let's look at the donkey's initial state. He was miserable. That's an adjective, and it just means extremely unhappy. The noun form is misery. You could say, his life was filled with misery. And the adverb is miserably, like he failed the test miserably. Next, he was exhausted. Again, an adjective meaning super, super tired. The verb is to exhaust. This long hike will exhaust you. And the noun is exhaustion. She was shaking with exhaustion. And finally, he was underfed. This adjective means exactly what it sounds like, not given enough food. The verb is to underfeed. You could say, the cruel owner used to underfeed his animals. All right, now for the words about the washerman's plan. It was deceptive. That's an adjective meaning something is meant to trick you or be dishonest. The verb is to deceive. For example, he tried to deceive the authorities. And the noun is deception, as in it was an act of deception. The washerman himself was cunning. Another adjective. This describes someone who's really clever at tricking people in a sly way. And what was the result of this cunning plan? The farmers were terrified. This is a strong adjective for being extremely scared. The verb is to terrify. For example, loud noises terrify my dog. And these last few words bring us to the end of the story. For a while, the donkey became robust, an adjective that means strong and healthy. But his mistake? It was fatal, an adjective that means causing death or disaster. You might hear someone say, he made a fatal mistake. Because of that mistake, his identity was exposed. This is from the verb to expose, which means to reveal something that was hidden. The noun form is exposure. And what was the root cause? His foolishness. This is a noun meaning a lack of good judgment. The adjective is foolish, as in, that was a foolish decision. And the adverb is foolishly. He foolishly spent all his money. Okay, so we've got the individual words down, the building blocks. But now let's talk about the phrases that really make the story move. These are the expressions that bring English to life. Let's start at the beginning. The donkey worked tirelessly. This just means he worked without stopping, with a ton of energy. In the past, he worked tirelessly. Right now, she is working tirelessly to finish her report. He also longed for a better life. This phrasal verb means you want something really, really badly. In the story, he longed for more food. In the present, you might say, I long for a holiday. And the washerman had to come up with a plan. This means to think of or invent an idea. In the past, he came up with a great idea. In the future, we need to come up with a new strategy. You know that feeling when an idea just pops into your head? We say it strikes you. So for the washerman, an idea struck him. The present tense is strike. Because of that idea, the donkey got to roam freely. This phrase means to wander around without any rules or limits. In the story, he roamed freely in the fields. In the future, next summer, we will roam freely across Europe. And this freedom meant he could eat to his heart's content. This is a wonderful little idiom. It means you do something as much as you want until you're completely satisfied. In the story, he ate to his heart's content. You could say, she slept to her heart's content on Saturday. Okay, let's get to the most dramatic part. The donkey couldn't hold back his bray. This means he couldn't stop himself or restrain the impulse. In the past tense, he held back his tears. In the present, try to hold back your laughter. Once they heard him, the farmers lost no time. This is a great idiom that means they acted immediately, without any delay. They lost no time in calling for help. And because they acted so fast, the donkey had to pay the price. This is another powerful idiom. It means you have to face the negative consequences of your actions. In the story, he paid the price for his foolishness. You might warn a friend, if you keep doing that, you'll have to pay the price. You know, we've already touched on some really great idioms. Kill two birds with one stone, pay the price. But there is one more, and it perfectly describes that single moment where it all fell apart for our donkey. So think back to that moment. He couldn't hold back that bray. And in that one instant, he revealed who he really was under that tiger skin. He showed his true colors. That's the idiom. It means you reveal your true nature or personality, especially when it's something you were trying to hide. By braying, the donkey showed his true colors. He wasn't a fierce tiger, just a regular donkey. It's a perfect phrase for when you finally see what someone is really like.
Now I have a challenge for you. Write a comment below describing a scenario where someone gets caught cheating on a test. Use at least 3 or 4 of these specific words in your story. Whether you are trying to succeed in life or just mastering the English language, the lesson is the same. Shortcuts and disguises eventually fail. True mastery requires authentic effort.